Welcome to West End Best Friend. How are you doing, my darling?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me on. This is lovely to chat to you.
So, Kerry Ellis, we've been stuck in this weird 2020 scenario for a while now. Have you found lockdown and surviving as an artist in this weird time when we kind of feel like our identity has been ripped from us?
It's such a big answer to that question, really, for so many reasons.
Just thought I'd give you an easy one to start, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to start with, I remember going through all kinds of emotions. I mean, I was in denial. I then got super emotional. I then thought my life and career was over. I went through all these extreme emotions, and I think within my 20 odd years of doing show business, I'd never, as lots of people hadn't, ever experienced suddenly all closing down and not having anything in the diary. And I was due to have a really busy year, so slowly these concerts and these appointments would slowly get postponed or taken off, and it was really hard. And initially I was kind of okay with it because I got to spend a lot of time with my family and my boys. The time where all four of us were at home and we couldn't go anywhere, and we were just doing basic things like going for a walk and having dinner together, and I was doing arts and crafts with my kids, and it's little things that we don't ever really get, not that we ever do, but we don't get a lot of time to do because my husband's going in and I'm going out and the kids are going to school or clubs, and we literally are a household of spaghetti junction because we're always like turning over. So to have that enforced time to stop was lovely, and I'm kind of grateful to it in a way, because we just got really close as a family and had that special time. And then once things started to lift, we went camping and we did all that stuff. We all got out on our bikes, which was great. It's things that I grew up doing when I was a kid. And we just don't have time to do those kind of things. So that was great. Homeschooling, though, I'll pass on that because that's horrific. I'm glad that that Alfie's 6 and he's not like 12, and I had to do algebra because I'd have had a hard time. Industry-wise, it was really tough. It was hard for me, but I felt for everybody else as well, because I could kind of survive for a little bit. I've worked for a long time, and you put a bit away and you make sure that you can kind of look after yourself and have a nice home, and I have families around me. But I really felt for kids that were starting out that have maybe done 1 or 2 jobs that are in rental accommodation, or they move around, or you don't earn very much when you start out. So I felt for those people that have trained incredibly for something very specific to suddenly have it taken away and no opportunity. And a lot of actors kind of spend a lot of time early on doing a job, lovely, and then they might work in a restaurant or a bar for a little while and then do another job, and nothing was attainable. So I really felt for our industry as a whole. I was kind of hoping that it would come back quicker early on. I thought we would all be doing Panto by Christmas. I thought that everybody was going to have loads of Christmas concerts. So I thought, I'm all right for a couple of months, and as long as Christmas comes through and I do what I normally do at Christmas, then we'll be fine, and it'll go back. And then obviously that's really not the case, and it's going to be next year. It was being quite hard to deal with. Initially I liked singing at home and doing the little live stream, and I think that was okay. And I quickly got not bored of it, but I got bored of the lack of production, the lack of quality of it. And then I found my podcast. Then I thought, I've got to channel my energy somewhere and produce something that I'm proud of, that will be a creative outlet, but something that's of quality, that will give my lockdown meaning, and that I don't come out of lockdown going, what did I do for 6 months? So my podcast was born, and Keep Calm and Carry On had season 1, which was amazing. I could talk to people over Zoom. I took a whim on it, and it was great. It was successful. We've just about finished season 2, and we're going to do a live final episode with a studio audience of like 20 people, and it would be live streamed so you can see it. So that's really nice. That's kept me creative. I did an album before lockdown that I wanted to do something different, that wasn't with a label, that wasn't a big massive deal. I wanted to do something that I had a really busy year booked up with lots of concerts and shows, just me. So I wanted to have something that I could take to these shows, and a bit kind of old school, where you would see a show and then you can buy an album and buy some, I wanted to do that kind of special thing. So I made an album, completely by myself. I didn't get a producer or anything. I just literally did it by myself. And then obviously lockdown hit and all these gigs went. And I was like, well, now I've got these boxes of albums. What am I going to do? And I didn't want to put it on iTunes. I wanted to keep that special, I don't know, specialness about it. So I put it on my website and it just went mad. I mean, I turned into my own little production company and stuff in little envelopes and writing little notes to people and sending these albums out. And it just felt good. It felt right, and it felt like I could connect my music or connect what I do with people, but on a personal level. It wasn't just a big thing that went through a label, went through iTunes, and I wasn't personally involved, you know. So yeah, that feels nice, and that's still going. I still send out a few a week, and that's really lovely. And that's it really. Now that things are starting to change, I've been and done a couple of little things outdoors, and I've done some nice live streams. I think mine's being aired this weekend at the Coliseum, tonight at the Coliseum, where I went in with my band and performed the album, which was lovely, but to the empty Coliseum, so you can see all the red seats behind you, which was lovely, but also quite strange because it was a double-edged sword, because it was unbelievably brilliant to be back in a theatre and, you know, walking out on the stage and seeing all them seats and you go, and to hear the music and be with other artists was amazing. But the sad bit about it, there was nobody there. There was no audience. And what we do is we connect. We want to be in a room with people. And that was hard, but to know that it was going to be live streamed and people could watch it from home was great. So hopefully people will do that this weekend, which will be lovely. And yeah, now to be slightly getting out and be live on stage. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you'll ask me about Proud, but my first show was Friday, and it was like stepping out on a stage for the first time again. It was just electric.
Awesome. Well, you segued, you did my job for me. So speaking of Proud, how did Proud come about and how did you get involved?
Ironically, I interviewed Denise for my season finale of my podcast, and Denise actually was chatting to me about it and said they were doing it before lockdown, or they'd set up the show, they were rehearsing it, and then I don't think they quite got on. And she was talking to me about it in the podcast, saying, yeah, well, hopefully we'll get back and we'll do Proud and la la la. So that was all great, and I was really pleased for her, and that's exciting. And then obviously they opened, and Denise opened the show, and it was really popular. People were really excited that there was actually something live happening and that was able to happen. And they didn't have the weight of a theatre as such. They're a restaurant, they're a bar, and they have this live element in. So it ticked a lot of boxes without being a theatre that can't open at the capacity, you know. That was great, and I saw her open, I thought, that's brilliant. Anyway, and I just got a call because Denise obviously is going to be skating her way into Dancing on Ice, so she couldn't do the Fridays. So they were looking for somebody to come in and do the Fridays that she couldn't do. So I just randomly got a call. To be honest with you, I don't even know whose idea it. I mean, maybe Denise did, I don't know. And I got a call saying, you know, we'd love you to come in and do the All Stars on the Friday. Because it was so successful, I think they wanted to give the audiences something else as well. You know, you had Denise and that show on a Saturday, and to bring them something a little bit more theatrical perhaps on Friday. So they called and said, you know, would you like to come and do it? And I was like, absolutely, I would. I opened on Friday and I just was buzzing to be on the stage with other people and have live audiences and people that have been starved of live entertainment.
Oh, completely.
It's almost like they're as excited as we are. You know, there's this atmosphere and there's this electricity that everybody's super excited, and it's like a release. And I think people need that escapism. You know, we haven't got the cinema. Well, we have got the cinemas, but nobody's going. There's not that escapism at the moment, and Proud is giving that. So I urge people to go and come and support it while we still can, because who knows what's...
Well, yeah, who knows? Did you feel like you were almost reborn in a way? Like it was a whole new start to your career, like the reopening night almost. How was it for you to engage with people again?
I was going to say that to you, but as it came out, I thought, oh no, I can't say that. But it was almost a bit like being reborn again. It felt like I'd been just shut away for years. It felt longer than a few months. It felt like I've just been put in a box. And suddenly, you know, the button's been pressed and I can jump out and do my thing. And it really did feel like that. And you take it for granted, I think. You know, when I gig and do concerts, you know, you go into a dressing room and you find out where all the plugs are and where your lights are and this, that, and the other, where you can hang your dress, all of that stuff. And then you just go and rock up on the stage, you find the entrance. It's very practical. Going into Proud felt like I'd gone back in time and I was discovering everything, and just overjoyed to be in a venue, finding my dressing room. And I mean, Proud's a little bit like an old school cabaret venue in a sense. I mean, they've done it up usually, but the dressing rooms have that kind of grit to them, and the stage is like that old school kind of black, with white markings out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of gritty, and it set something off in me that it was amazing. The smell and the lights and the sound, it's really loud, and it's just electric. And also to suddenly be with artists that I haven't really worked with before. So there's a lot of people that we have from Cirque du Soleil, and we have an aerial artist, a Brazilian bombshell who's unbelievable, who puts fire all over her body, and she's amazing. Marie Devereaux, she's incredible. Oh, we have Misa Blue that swallows swords, but done in such a brilliant way. These guys have their own shows in Vegas, and some of them have been in Cirque du Soleil, but because all these shows are closed, so they're here. And so to have this lineup of extraordinary people for one night and to be super close is something really rare, and I think it won't happen. Once things open, they'll be off, I'll be off. It won't happen again. So that's why I'm urging people now to go, this is an experience not to miss, because it's unique. It's not going to happen for very long. And even I'm stood on the stage with, there's a beautiful aerialist called Catherine Karpovich, and she's unbelievable. She hangs from this little ring from the sky, and she does all these crazy things with her body. And I have to sing A Million Dreams, and I forget to sing because I'm just going, oh my God! But it's one of those moments that you will be wowed, and it's a real old school night of entertainment. You have dinner, you have drinks, and you watch this incredible show. And I would go, it's something that I would go to. And I don't get a lot of time to go out to things, but I would make a point of going to this.
As you said, it's quite a unique experience. Have you ever done anything like this before?
No, not really. I mean, the only thing I can kind of compare it to is very early on when I started out and I went on a cruise ship, and I was part of this new show. The show that we put on, there was acrobats, and there was silk artists, and there was fantastic dancers. It had an element of that, but not to this level. I mean, these people are worldwide artists in their own right, and I have to get the details right because it's not my world really. But Shade Flamewater, I mean, that's a name, isn't it? That's a name. He basically teaches as a mentor for all the fire acts, and he came in and actually did an act the other night because they needed an extra person, or somebody wasn't there. Honestly, my jaw was just dropped because he was so phenomenal that you just kind of feel privileged to be in the space with these amazing people. So it is different for me. I feel like I'm part of The Greatest Showman, and I love it. I love it.
What can people expect when they come? What kind of night and level of experience can they get from this opportunity?
Well, and also it's distance, so it's very safe. People are at their tables, they're in their bubbles, but it's kind of distance, but in a way that you don't realise it. So especially for me, it feels like there's lots of people, but you're on your own table, and there's distance between everyone. All the usherettes have like lovely glamorous masks on, and they're swanning around doing their thing. And there's obviously the show is unbelievable. I can't speak highly of these other artists that have come from all around the world. You just be entertained. You can't not be entertained. There's something for everybody. There's a bit of burlesque in there. There's lots of burlesque. There's lots of tassels. There's lots of shimmying, and just some real artistry. Some very clever, brilliantly talented people. You will be amazed. Your jaw will drop. But it's also really fun. I get really involved with the audience. I get them to sing, and I get them to move about. There's lots of giveaways, and you can have dinner, you can have drinks, and it's just a really good, fun night. And I promise, if you go, you will not be disappointed. And I don't normally say that. I normally go, it is what it might not be for you. It might be, because musicals or concerts are very specific. But this, I really do think, is for everybody, and everybody will love something in it and will come away with something. Because we've been starved of it. We've been starved of it.
Absolutely. And what a way to come back with just all of it. Have it all. Thank you so much for coming and chatting to us, walking into your room and chatting to us today. It's been a dream. Thank you so much. And you know, I'm so glad that you're back out there doing what you love.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely. Come see us.
Pleasure.